Here we are, episode 38 of Three Brothers Talking.
What studio number are we in now?
Oh boy, we haven't done a studio count in a long time.
This is my favorite studio, though.
This
Jared's
might be my
backyard.
favorite. I would be partial to my backyard, but it has a car wash in it. So, like, that's a real...
We have to try my backyard sometime.
We got to see how that
backyard
is.
in a long time.
Yeah.
So didn't you guys do one already back there?
Yeah, we've done one on your porch. We've done one on Jeremy's
long
porch.
time ago.
Yeah. So this is a special edition, probably like a bonus ep. I don't know. The brothers talking are going into a bit of a new season because, well, we're going to talk about that on the on this episode about babies arriving and all that. So, but first off, I'm David.
I'm Jeremy.
And we have a special guest.
I'm Jared.
There we go.
There he is. He finally made it.
Jared, our first sponsor of the podcast, supplied us then with some Blantons and is supplying us now with some Woodford Reserve, right?
Yeah, Woodford Reserve malted.
Malted. First malted whiskey I've ever had. Pretty good.
Feel pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. It's a very different taste.
It's a nice wood.
I like it more than I liked my first rye whiskey. So
Well, you might just not like rye.
I might just not like rye. But anyway, Jared making his podcast debut. Andrew's not here with us tonight. He is visiting family out of town.
In Believe Land.
In Believe Land.
Do they still call it that now that LeBron's gone?
Now that I don't know.
Cleveland
Who
Browns
knows?
stink again.
Oh, the Browns, the Cavs really stink.
Browns fans still believe they have a chance. Like they're just
still believing.
hopelessly. They're like,
Yeah,
this is our year.
no matter
A
what.
shortened COVID season is their opportunity.
Well, the
Everyone will be bad. Everyone will be out of shape and no one got a mini
my team's gonna be bad. The Bengals will be bad because they're gonna have a rookie quarterback and he's gonna have like a shortened weird
Yeah.
offseason.
That's
The Cowboys will be terrible because Zeke needs like 5 games to get up to game speed because
Exactly.
he does nothing in the offseason.
Yeah, Zeke just throws bangers in the offseason. He doesn't do anything.
It is amazing to me. Him coming out of college, I really thought that. I mean, granted, he was not like the most model role model in college either.
No.
But at the same time, like I really thought he'd be the. I don't know what I thought. I'm just surprised. Let's
Yeah.
go with I'm surprised.
Yeah, he's made some real boneheaded decisions.
With all due respect.
With all due respect. So this is studio number 9.
It's number 1 in our hearts.
I feel like my kitchen table was 6. The upstairs bedroom in my house was 7.
My table is still number 1.
Yeah, we did the last episode about race, which we encourage you to listen to, obviously, because we made it.
Not NASCAR.
Yeah, not a NASCAR race. Although NASCAR is soon to have fans in the stands.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
July 4th weekend.
good for them.
It's America.
But
Ricky Bob.
let's say this is studio number 9, Jared's backyard.
Sounds like a nice number.
Yeah, nice round number, I guess.
Sounds like a topic we should move on from.
No, this is really important.
This is really the bulk of the podcast, Eric.
Yeah,
This is really
is
what
really
we're
what it's all
talking
about.
about the
didn't see
entire
the show. I
time.
didn't see the show notes.
You didn't get the show notes. We're really going to spend at least 10 minutes discussing the number of studios we have.
Yeah,
We've really prepared hard for this episode.
yeah. This is
Speaking of which, Fadia, shout out to Fadia and Jordan if they're listening. Jordan Hicks, her husband,
yeah.
we had them over for dinner the other night, and I had said like, I got together with Andrew and David to record a podcast. He told Fadia, and the first episode they listened to was the Pet Peeves episode.
Oh, that's
So I
funny.
got reamed all night about my dirty socks being on the table.
Did you have any socks on the table?
I wanted
that
to.
night?
I honestly thought about being in the restaurant, and taking off my shoes, and putting the socks on the table.
Yeah.
Just to do it.
I
But that would
think,
embarrass people.
I think that's probably one of my favorite episodes that we've done. It was a lot of fun to go through.
Yeah.
We need to come up with new pet peeves so we can do it again.
But again, I can fully relate to like eating cereal out of like a mixing bowl because
Exactly.
they don't make cereal bowls big enough.
They don't.
I'll eat like half a thing of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. at a
When you're
time,
younger, like cereal seems like a meal, and when you're older, you're like, I need at least a whole box to take this, like to
How much
take
is
the
a
edge
serving?
off.
1 box?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Serving
Family
Serving box.
size.
servings per box 12.
Family size,
Disagree.
$5.
Yeah. But we're actually recording this the day after Jeremy's wife, Faith, is due with their second child.
Yeah. Hard to believe.
What was
40 weeks went by fast.
40 weeks went by fast. You were gonna ask me a question before, and I said we'll save it for the podcast.
Oh, I was asking you about your tattoo, but that can be another bonus up because this bonus
Yeah.
up is about the studio numbers.
Yes, yeah, because everybody wants a whole episode about me getting a tattoo.
Next episode will be all about David's
Bonus
second
F1A,
tattoo.
bonus F1B.
1B. Yeah.
Now
I don't know. I don't remember what the question. I don't remember what the question was, but it was something about like
You sat
how long
there
I was
from
there.
10:30 to 4 p.m.
So it was 10 o'clock is when I arrived. We started at 10:30. I took a short break for lunch to eat Firehouse subs. Shout out if they want to sponsor the podcast. 'Cause
What'd you
they're-
get?
I got the Italian. But I would say my
cheap smokehouse brisket.
that's good stuff.
So good.
I like
don't
to
look
hook-
at the don't look at the nutritional facts, by the way.
Yeah, they're
Sodium's
they've got good stuff at Firehouse. I would not. That is
It's delicious.
yeah, absolutely. But so I had a short break for lunch, but it was like 4 hours of tattooing, 4 or 5 hours, and it was about 6 hours at the shop.
Did you have to wear a mask?
I did not have to wear a mask. The artist wore a mask, but almost every time I've gotten a tattoo, they've almost
they've
always
mostly
worn a
worn
mask.
masks.
So, because they're already
Makes
like
sense.
they're already like breathing and real close to you and all that. And
Sweating.
my wife couldn't hang around with me, which was good because it ended up being 6 hours. Because I kind of went in like it was really free-handed. The tattoo I got ended up being very improvised.
Would you
and,
get a picture of me on your arm?
Yep.
Thought so.
No, it's
Not Jaden Smith.
it's a nice tree out of Habakkuk 3. Shout out to Habakkuk 3.
Like we have someone named Habakkuk who listens to
If
the
they want to sponsor,
podcast.
Abby.
they want to
Or
sponsor the
Habakkuk's 3
podcast.
kids. I don't get it.
My man Habby.
Man, that's not a bad name. Maybe we'll use that.
Hey, if you
comes out a boy,
if you
we
get
think it's a
surprised
girl.
by a boy, go
we
with
already have
Habakkuk.
names. Actually, a boy name was picked out right off the bat.
Could you imagine if you like had to interview someone and his name was Habakkuk?
Habakkuk.
You'd be like,
For like a
Have you
Haggai.
ever listened to, speaking, we were talking about Alistair Begg earlier, him talking about Habakkuk?
Shout out to Alistair Begg.
Oh, we love some Alistair Begg. But he was
He's
talking
listening.
about how
He's listening, of course.
he's like, yeah, I always call it Habakkuk. Because then
Habakkuk.
I always remember Habakkookie. And I was like, that's great. That's my new favorite way to say Habakkuk.
Is that how you're supposed to say
That's
it?
how he says it. I don't know if it's a Scottish way to say it or what.
Mm.
But his aunt is just saying Habakkookie.
That's
Made it
episode,
worth
that's
it.
the next episode we're gonna record. Is like, what's the right way to say biblical names?
Dude, you
That'd
can just
be-
go through the book with a name.
I was
Yeah.
just listening to a John MacArthur podcast, and he was going.
Never heard of him.
Strange Fire.
And he was going over like Daniel, and the whole time he's saying like Darius, and I've always heard the name pronounced Darius, and he keeps on calling it Darius,
What?
and
I've
like
never heard that one.
Yeah.
I was thinking it would be Darius.
well,
Or
That would-
Darius.
but I was just like, yeah, and that was the thing. It's like I was like, well, maybe like that's just how I've always pronounced the name, and then like same thing. I'm just like,
Darius is not a bad name. Now that I think about it, you can name a kid Darius. Well, maybe not Darius, but Darius.
but like, would it be like D apostrophe Arius? So it'd be like Arius.
No, I'd spell. How's it spelled? Darius.
D-A-R-I-U-S.
This is great. Great content.
We're spelling champions here.
Anyway,
Don't be hating on the beat.
I did discover this week that I was more capable of sitting. Shout out to Sean Spencer.
Man, it's like that episode is like still one of the best
Yeah,
episodes.
that's one of the first
That's
ones.
the first
spelling
episode.
bee.
That's the second, but that's
Yeah.
the first episode I ever saw.
Yes.
But yeah,
Classic.
I discovered I was more capable of sitting through like a
What?
6 hour tattoo appointment than I was capable of handling like my 45-minute dentist appointment on Monday.
Guys,
I was like, I was squirming in the chair like you would not believe, and I was sitting there laying there thinking, I sat there for 6 hours under like probably more pain than I'm experiencing now, but I was so much more nervous. I don't really know why.
I maintain it's the tools. Like
Yeah,
anything
they're
that
so
makes
sharp.
that high pitch like sound, like coming
Yeah.
near me, I'm like, that's not supposed to be in my mouth.
There's like a hook and yeah.
scrapey.
Anyway, what are we talking about tonight, Jeremy?
I think we're discussing like being ready for a second kid.
You're having a second baby.
Which I'm not ready. I'm excited, and I just come to terms with I'm not going to be fully ready for anything in life anymore.
Yeah.
Which I'm not really to terms with, I guess. But I'm learning to come to terms with. I guess
Yeah.
that's what faith is. But yeah, we're gonna have a baby again, which is exciting. Mike is getting really funny. He always says baby. He loves babies, which is great.
That's good.
And always like in the morning he'll say baby, baby. After he says daddy, outside, and then mower. Then he says baby, and then he'll like want to go put his head on his stomach, which is priceless. But But yeah, getting ready for baby number 2. Might get a call any second. It's weird this time around since last time we induced. Like, I had a definite time when I was going to be out of work.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I could be out tomorrow for an extended period of time. But with COVID, it's kind of that way anyway. So it's kind of like just I'm on COVID watch again. But for better reasons.
For much better reasons.
So we're excited. Faith's doing good. This came a lot quicker than we both anticipated. But, I mean, God's sovereign.
Yeah.
It'll be good having the kids close together. She's young. I'm not really young. But...
You say it like you're an old man.
Well, I mean, I'm 31, so, like, having the kids close together, like,
ancient.
is good.
I'm 37 and my youngest is 3, so you're ahead of the game.
I'm ahead of the game. But, so we're excited. It is different this time around. Just trying to get things ready and prepared while having another kid, which Jared, I'm sure you can attest to. There's a lot more work. Jared has 2 kids, 2 great kids.
How far apart are your kids, Jared? 3 years? 2 years?
I feel like I should know this, like off the top of my head, but it's like 17 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
The same,
that's closer than I thought. Okay.
Well, Faith, my wife, and her sister are 19 months apart.
Okay.
The doctor said to like
That's
wait
what my
at least
wife's
6
like.
months, and I was like, it's about as much time as I'll give you, Doc.
Yeah. So, well, you said it feels different this time. What do you think are some of the differences you feel going into the second round?
I think you prepare in different ways. I think most of the first time I was preparing more from like we'll go with financial standpoint, trying to save more. And now it's like, well, you're not going to be able to do what you want to do as far as that standpoint. But being able to sit there and say, we're going to prioritize things differently. Getting the houses ready was a little bit different. We had some unexpected things due to pets we were anticipating, which COVID made that a lot more fun when they cancel your carpet in the nursery getting changed out, which we had plenty of time, so it worked out. But I think that standpoint made it a lot more difficult. Also, Faith, me working, changing jobs, I wasn't able to take much time off. But also having a midwife through the process and being in a home, she could come to the house to do all the prenatal care, which is super nice for her and even me, because I could come home and she was there. We could do it in the evenings.
That's cool.
Yeah, and Micah could be there and be a part of it too.
Micah knows all about it now. Micah's ready to deliver the baby.
He's ready. He's not going to be there. We're not going to traumatize him in that
Probably
way.
a good idea.
The
Probably
doula
best.
No, the doula people said, like, you can have your kids there. And Faith and I are like, we're not traumatizing our son. Like, the whole family should be a part of it. And we're like, we're not letting him be a part of it.
What are you talking about?
You do not want to deal with that nightmare in the middle of the night.
He's a year old. Like, you're in the middle of having the baby, and it's like he just gets into, like, a cabinet and, like, finds all the sharp knives.
There's a lot of other things to worry about.
Yeah, like... I don't want to
have fun somewhere else.
Yeah, let him go spend the night at the grandparents' house.
Yeah,
like you're gonna send that kid to therapy for so many other reasons.
Nightmares of my mom screaming, and I don't know why.
Yeah, he doesn't know what's going on. He just wants a cookie in the middle of it, and you
Dad, can you give me a cookie? I know you're in a giant tub in the living room.
Daddy, mower.
Battery's dead.
So you've got like a portable baptismal. Is that what they said?
Yeah, we're gonna do some baptizing, not the babies.
Smart.
We're not about that.
So
Jeremy's going
have
Pado.
you officially confirmed that you're a Baptist then?
No, we're not, but we haven't baptized Mikey yet.
Better watch out. Like if you have that baby in a tub and you just say the wrong words.
I actually say, in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Crap.
Oh, I accidentally baptized my son.
Baptized my son.
My daughter.
Yeah, it's a daughter. That's the other part of the whole thing.
Yeah, you're having your first girl.
Now I have to like buy a gun.
No.
And that's a shame for weddings.
Do like I did, and you buy a compound bow. Because then you
I've actually wanted a compound bow.
Then you can do it silently and just stealth away.
I was actually going to buy a compound bow a long time ago before I started messing with firearms. That was actually what I was going to go with. Because I'm like, I can keep that in an apartment without worrying about any of my lease issues or anything like that.
Yeah, I think most like apartments, they don't even think about like writing a bow into the lease.
Some of them do have firearms.
So in Psych 3, there needs to be a character that like that's their weapon. Can you imagine like James Roday getting like woken up in the middle of the night and he's like got a compound bow? That's what he uses to protect Juliet.
Yeah,
but yeah, so it's been good.
So what you said, like you prepare differently. You don't have as well in some ways. You don't have as much.
I don't think
you don't have like as much. You're not like buying baby gear because you have a lot of baby gear already.
Well, being a girl, Mike is still using a lot of the baby gear.
Yeah,
so true. Like this time around, we were much more like, hey, we got all this stuff for friends and family, which has been great. Shout out to all of our friends and family who've graciously given us stuff. But also like us refinishing some stuff, being a little thing like, hey, we don't need the new stuff. We can refinish some stuff a little bit. It's a little different, having a second kid. Like, hey, it doesn't have to be the top of the line new stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and some of the stuff you need new, obviously, but some of the stuff, like, it won't matter. And we have a lot of baby toys. Like, they'll be fine with that.
Yeah.
But clothes and stuff.
Yeah, you
We
need
actually have more clothes for her, I think, than we have for Micah currently.
He's a boy. He doesn't
Yeah.
need as much.
Boys destroy clothes.
They do. He's always dirty. And it's fine. He's always playing in dirt. So that's exciting.
He's always playing in
It'll
dirt.
be... It's cool to finally get to sit there and say, like, if we have a name or not and be able to say the name. I've almost slipped up like 30 or 40 times.
Don't say it on the pod. Well,
I'm
you
not
could
going
say
to.
it on the podcast.
I could, but then what if this drops before it?
I'll drop it after. Probably.
It is funny. People ask, and we're always like, no, we don't have a name yet. Or, like, because we just don't.
You just don't want to tell people.
We told people the name, but we wanted people to get like used to call.
We did that with Micah.
Yeah.
But this one, we're like, we didn't want to deal with it. We actually, because we were kind of workshopping the two names for a while. And at that point, we didn't want anyone to come in. Since we had two names, and one we actually liked slightly more, which is one we call her just between us. But we didn't want anyone else to kind of like influence that decision.
What do you think the differences are, like emotionally, going into round 2, having a first daughter, or expecting a first daughter, you know?
Yeah, I mean, two come out of
Could
boy.
be a surprise, but
Room's green, so that's fine.
yeah. Like, do you feel like emotionally, like, what do you think is different?
I think emotionally going through it the second time around, I think there's been a lot of other things going on emotionally these days that it's kind of been like, I haven't thought about it as like that emotional aspect of it, like I'm gonna have another kid, or like a daughter.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a lot different when I'm holding her in my arms, because even holding Micah for the first time, it was like this is very different. Even you don't anticipate how it feels. I think for the first time you sit there and say like, this is how I know I'm supposed to feel with God. Like the first time he holds him, he sleeps in his arms, he's completely safe and sound, no cares in the world.
Yeah.
It'll be different holding a little girl. I know that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just been so much going on. I've been trying to process a lot of other things and trying to make sure that everything's handled from other standpoints and trying to keep things going. And we're excited. I think a lot of it is just, it's different. But also trying to be more intentional with Faith this time around. She's a stay-at-home mom, which I haven't been great at. Both her being pregnant and stay-at-home mom, sitting there and saying, I know I need, the past weeks I've tried to be a little better as far as how are you doing, but also like how are you doing, but spend more time rather than just trying to rush around getting everything done.
Yeah.
Granted, which I haven't done perfectly, and she can attest to that, because sometimes stuff just needs done, but sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I just want to get it done because I want to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. I've learned, I think even the last month or so, I was reminded of like how good that time together is, like you and your spouse, even if there's things to do. And I know that I can be drawn to getting things done, or things of that nature. And thankfully I have a wife that'll remind me like, hey, we need to like invest between us more and like care about that, because I guess my tank can run a little bit longer in that respect. Like I don't have to fill it up as often, relationally. But I actually noticed maybe it was last week, I was thinking about how for a part of that COVID shutdown, I was very happy. And I thought about like the last week, I just wasn't quite as happy. And I was like, I think it's because like those times during COVID, Rachel and I were just spending tons of time together. And I was like, imagine that. I'm a much happier person when I'm mainly spending time with my wife. Like, imagine that. And it's still easy for me to like fill our schedule with other things, because it feels godly. Like it feels godly to do all these activities, and it feels almost selfish to just invest between us. But it makes me happier. I think that also glorifies God. Like I think that's marriage and everything. But I'm sure that heading into having a kid, much less a second kid, there's a different kind of like investment and everything that needs to happen with your wife.
Yeah, I think more so. That's something I've been realizing more and more lately. It has to be invested differently. Time has to be more of making a priority, which I've tried to do more now. But sitting there saying, like, it's going to be kind of cool to sit there and say, this is, our family's grown, like, I don't know, I was saying everything the other day, like, our family, like, the Appel family in the past 3 years has grown almost exponentially between us and
I'd say so.
Kaylee and their kids being added.
Go back
Rachel.
to all the wives being added.
Yeah, and then and then 3 grandkids in a year, and then 2 this year. Maybe who knows what happened with
Goodness,
others.
child's play.
But
Well, mathematically, we're done this year.
yeah.
Just to be clear.
But sitting there saying, like, our family. Well, and
It's
also,
at the very least, we're talking 2021.
and I think the one thing that I come back to the whole thing is we can all stress about, especially with something like money when it comes down to this. But one thing God's been laying down on my heart more and more is like Psalm 127, like that children are a blessing from God, and blessed is he who fills his quiver with them.
Is full of them.
And you sit there and think, especially in society today, anyone sit there and say, "Wow, if you have more than 2 kids, you're like really weird."
Yeah.
If you have like 3, 4, and especially if the 2 are close together, people are like, "Wow, those are gonna be close together," and they kind of think like, "Well, that's kind of cool, but it's kind of weird." Which, granted, like I said, we weren't planning it, but we also see the benefits of doing that.
Planning's for chumps.
But also sitting there and saying, like, especially getting all those sleepless nights like done early, like just get them done and go. But we want to adopt, so this will make hopefully more headway for that.
Yeah.
Down the road. But it'll be nice to actually meet her. I'm excited to actually meet her and see Faith with her. I think she'll be a great mom. She's already a great mom to Micah. But
careful there.
I was gonna say something else. But seeing
you had to police the name just then, didn't you?
No, I just got Faith and Micah mixed up.
Gotcha. I thought you were about to let the name slip.
No. But seeing Faith with her after she's worked hard on the room and everything she's gone through, especially after the last pregnancy and delivery did not go as we have planned. It'll be nice. I know she wants to really sit there and say, look what God has done, and also look what we got to do to her family, and look what even people who said I couldn't do this, I did it.
There you go.
So she's excited that, and I'm excited to help her along with that. Granted, I'm scared a little bit. It's a very new experience for me this time around. Very different from the last time. But all the players in the game, I think, everyone's there is to make my wife happy and comfortable and safe. And that's what I care the most about. And actually, we have a lot more choices throughout the process than last time.
What you just said, you quoted Psalm 127, and it made me think of the fact that in Psalm 127, it talks about children being a heritage to the Lord. It says, I'll read this psalm here. Unless the Lord builds a house, they labor in vain who build it. Unless the Lord guards the city, the watchman keeps awake in vain. It is vain for you to rise up early, to retire late, to eat the bread of painful labors, for he gives to his beloved even in his sleep. Behold, children are a gift of the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. How blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. They will not be ashamed when they speak with their enemies in the gate. I think it's cool that like Psalm 127 is like half and half. One part of it is like a psalm that's about God's sovereignty and like you don't need to be anxious, and then the other half of it is a psalm about having kids.
Yeah,
and I haven't had kids.
On the surface, they feel disjointed. Yeah, but it's not.
But I haven't had kids. But I feel like whenever I do, I'll understand how understanding God's sovereignty will be so gosh darn important. This is a clean podcast.
Man,
gosh darn important. Whenever I have kids,
job.
Right? Like,
are you trying to announce something right now on the podcast?
No.
Congratulations, David.
The only announcement on this podcast is that I got a tattoo, and Jeremy might slip up and tell us the name of the.
I need to get another tattoo. And
you
guns,
do,
and a crossbow, and compound bow, and everything.
I'm risking it by taking my jacket off. I might get a mosquito bite in the middle of the tattoo.
That'd be awful.
The tattoo's in the gross, peely part.
Your arm looks like leprosy.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it?
Leprous black arm.
But you guys have had kids, so do you feel like that connection of like, hey, the first half of the psalm is like reminding you that you don't need to be anxious, and the second half is like, hey, you have kids, you don't need to be anxious about that either? I don't know. That just struck me as Jeremy as you brought it up.
What do you think, Jared?
It's tough to abide by the be anxious for nothing, especially when it comes to your kids. but I mean, there is some comfort in knowing that, yeah, God's sovereignty's in control. Like, my job, you know, it's not necessarily my job to be. It's not my job to turn my kids to Christ. It's just my job to like be a role model and like be a living example for them to watch and see and like model for them.
Yeah.
So the truth of it is the only difference between living a Christian life as a parent and a non-parent is, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's not any different.
Yeah.
You know, I just need to be a Christ follower.
Yeah.
That's been so. And this is one of my favorite passages, and it talks because a lot of me, like as me, it's hard for me to sit down and rest and not be working or helping someone at all times. But the fact that he gives his beloved rest, and like in my own head, I've sat there and thought like, oh, you had a restful, like you rested today, and like in my head, like within society we have like that's almost a bad thing in some thought of our mind. But you look at the
unless
scripture,
it's self-care, hashtag self-care.
Well, unless you call it self-care, yeah. But even thinking like, no, God gives this to me, and I need to take that gift. Yep. But in that, then it goes into like having kids, and you feel disjointed. You can sit there and say the first part is about like a work life.
Yeah.
But also, the work life does impact your kid life. And you're working and resting in other areas, and resting in Christ, or you are in Christ, to be an ambassador or to sit there and say, I can't force my kids one way or the other, but I can be the model they need to be for Christ and point them to the gospel every day.
Well,
and point them to the rest.
And conversely, like, over the past, like, 2 years, I've learned immensely more about God and his ability for compassion and patience and love, as far as like understanding, and not just like as close to an applicable understanding as you could get from it, because like there's moments where like you having 2 kids and you're tired in this, and like truth is you're just like, these things are demons in my household, but like
I'm at the end of the rope.
The next thing you know, like again, and last night's a perfect example. Will is just, I mean, he's just being a terror. He's all boy, 100% energy, go 100 miles an hour, and like we were just long week, tired, and he grabs. They love Peppa Pig. And he grabs this big stainless steel cup that I have, and he starts doing like his daddy pig snort. He does like a really good snort, but he's doing it in this thing, and it just echoes, and like I'm belly laughing like a little kid at it, and just to like know that like you just see that like complete, you know, at one moment, like
you have the desperation, but then you have like this joy, like this huge joy that comes out of it.
It's like he won't listen to me, and he's exasperating me, and it's like, for me as a human being, I'm at my wit's end, and then like there's just this moment of just like I just purely like enjoy. I just love the fact that he is there, and you're just like. Again, you think about like what you read in scripture, and it's just like, man, like you know, kids teach you about, you know, God.
You think marriage teaches you a ton, and then you have kids, and it's like, wow. And that's like with us, like we've been married for almost. We were saying about it's only been 2017. It'll be 3 years in the end of June. Yeah, June 30th.
3 years, 2 kids.
Wow, I just thought about that. Our anniversary is coming up. I need to remember that.
Yeah, you're like
note to self.
It's a week and a half out.
Pull out the phone.
Now that it's recorded.
Set a reminder.
Now that it's recorded on the podcast, like
I better get something good.
Yeah, because
I did not. That's 10 days away.
David, wait to drop this until like a week before his anniversary.
It's 10 days away.
Maybe Jeremy's already got some. This is all an elaborate prank to Faith.
No, she's gonna hear
She's gonna hear the episode and be like, Jeremy forgot.
Well, Jeremy just showed us what he got her, and I mean, I can't believe.
Goodness, it was incredible.
I got her that new battery for the ROB tool set.
That brand new car.
I mean, we did just technically get a new car because we just got the title over for the Kia. So
there you go.
I'll get the truck fixed. That'll work.
There you go.
Just got a new barn for the horses. There you go.
Yeah. Just get her another animal. Faith likes those.
We already had 2 cats and a dog and
3 years.
And we're gonna have 2 cats.
3 years, 2 kids, 18 animals.
It's been 3 years, and we got God's blessed with the house, 2 kids, 2 cats, a new dog, new place for our horses, but also with family and a new church and new friends and old friends. God's been good.
Yeah.
And sitting there actually thinking about that and trusting in like he's going to be good for the next round.
Don't you think? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't you think that like part of when I read that verse about God giving His beloved rest, I guess part of the way I understand it is like in the moment. Part of that is like His sovereign involuntary injection of rest into our lives at times, where He just slows us down providentially, and like you've got no choice but to, you can't do anything now but rest. But like when He makes you lie down in a green pasture, right? But then there's other times when like it is that I think that verse is more talking about when you are so tempted to stay up late, anxious to, you have to like actively choose. The gift of God for me right now is the ability to sleep. Like the gift of God for me right now is the ability to recount blessings and enjoy something, to not work to produce something or to take care of something, but just like even when I'm at my wit's end, the rest of God is there for me to enjoy. And most of the time that's in the form of the many good gifts that He gives us. Yeah, right?
That's something lately. Like, so the other day I told you, Jared, about this Monday. I got an unexpected letter from for real estate taxes I wasn't anticipating.
Woohoo!
Because we just had
taxes.
It's all taken care of.
That's the next episode.
Yeah, we got that like Monday night. And I've been trying more lately to sit there and say, I'm not going to think about things like work or anything later on at night, but also try to enjoy our backyard, because our backyard, we love the yard, backs up to a forest, there's birds all the time, quiet neighborhood, turkeys sometimes run around, but so like
that's why Jeremy's getting a compound though.
Letter.
Take one of those turkeys out.
I would take that sucker out and eat it.
Free-range turkey.
But you sit there and say like, look at the birds, you serve the birds, but also like sit there and enjoy the blessings. Like just sit outside and say, I'm just gonna enjoy the time. My dogs are just chilling out, playing, and this is the rest that God's blessed with. And so often we miss that.
Yep.
Or it's like, or we just do the yard for the yard work and that's it. But we don't sit there and say, let's just enjoy the green grass that we're trying to get to grow. Trying to grow.
I've got some spots in my yard where I'm trying to get green grass to grow.
That pool area is still a pain in the butt. It's getting there.
It's always going to be. I mean, this is 6 years in, you still see bare spots. Like it's
the people that had the house before us, in some ways they took good care of it, but like the yard, nope.
No
like
priority.
the yard was not a priority.
The yards were retired people. They took care of that yard, and the pool took up half the yard.
Yeah. Well, apparently we discovered that our yard used to have a pool, and it got taken out, and they never really like did what you would need to do then in order to make grass grow in its place. So it's just kind of
it's just weeds.
It's just clover and weeds but
baby could come any moment.
Baby could come any moment.
Every time I get a phone call, I'm at work or text or whatever. Again, people call my phone like for work stuff because that's like my normal way of getting phone calls for work. It's super convenient. But I've like told a bunch of people at work like, hey, I might not be around or reachable, so make sure you copy everyone on emails.
Yeah.
Everything's buttoned up, but it's completely different. But also sitting there and trusting God, like, you know what, like, I'm gonna step out for a little while. Things are still gonna keep going.
Yep.
Even if they do fall apart, God's got something better to work on.
It's up to Him.
If He can get us through everything else, He can get us and our Romebeck Electric and everyone else.
Shout out to Romebeck Electric.
Shout out to them, not a sponsor.
Not sponsored, but in some way.
But they are kind of,
in one way.
They pay my salary.
Yeah, and in one way, the fact that company was established and existed really changed our family's lineage. So
yeah, we're a big.
That's an instance of, I mean, and our grandfather who started the company with like not much of anything would say that's unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain.
He's told me that story between that and
God wanted to bless him, and He blessed our grandfather so that my grandfather could start a free Christian concert ministry venue, and all that stuff. Yep. So it's
well, I grew up going to many a concerts at.
It's funny. I still get people from Maranatha, but I went there.
I meet people all the time so that talk about the King's Place.
Well, if you're a Christian in Columbus in that era,
you knew of
who
it.
Didn't go to a concert there?
But
Striper was there. White Cross was there.
Newsboys.
My favorite show that I ever saw there was Bride.
I was listening to Bride the other day.
I think Bride was there like every 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, they were there a lot.
Snakes in the Playground was their best album.
When I was working from home, like every now and then I I listen to a lot of music when I work. I listen to some podcasts, but I listen to more music. It helps me focus a lot in a lot of ways, it seems. And one day I was working from home, and I just like turned on some Bride and just started like, just turned it up real loud. And like Rachel comes into my office, and she was just like, "What in the world is this?" And I was like, "This is just
Christian hair metal."
I can't explain it, but it's great. Like, yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's funny, like you sitting there like waiting for phone calls because like, so baby number 2 for us was a C-section, so we didn't have that. Like it was a scheduled, thing. But even like, yeah, I guess I never had. Yeah.
No, and that's really different. Like, especially someone like I'm learning in this area not to be in control, because I really can't have any control. I have no indication when it's going to happen.
Right.
All I can just do what's called for me to do today and trust God with the rest. And enjoy the moments I have, sit there and say faith. Faith's like, you can go hang out with your friends. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go. And like, granted, there's plenty of stuff I could be doing tonight. But she graciously said, you can go hang out with them. And so I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
we'll take it. And
Yeah. And
Thanks,
honestly,
Faith.
yeah, it's certainly important to do, especially after the fact. It's a neighborhood cat.
Neighborhood cat running around. We're good.
But yeah, I mean, after the fact, as soon as like, you can get her, a couple hours out, because I think that was like the biggest like rabbit hole like we fell into with our number 2 was I just started a new job. I was working 12, 14-hour days, 6 to 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And so I only took one day off when we had Will. And that was the Friday we went in for the C-section. Come Monday, I was back in at work. So like when I did get a moment to breathe and go out, like I took the opportunity. And when she would have opportunities to breathe, like she wouldn't go out. And it like, I could have been more forceful with like pushing her towards that, but like definitely getting her to understand that like
Yeah,
you need to get out for these 2 hours. You know what I mean? Even if it's just go see your mom or go see
Yeah.
because she would have friends over to the house, but both the kids are still there. So like no, you need like total separation.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Definitely.
Well, I think one of the things about the gift of rest, the gift of sleep, is it's a choice that must be made even amidst things to do. It just always is. It's always amidst things to do.
That's something that's always like me. I heard Ronnie and Melissa Martin talking at one of the conferences we went to from Substance up in Mansfield. And he was in there saying, he goes, the reason why
Ashland,
sorry. But the reason why you have a Sabbath and you have rest is because there is stuff to do.
Yeah.
Like, you need to enjoy the moments you have, especially to rest, because there is a lot to get done and stuff you are called to do in those moments.
There's always tons. There's always more to do, and you definitely discover that, once you get married, and then once you buy a house, and then once you have a kid, and there's always things to do. And there's always like ministry stuff to do. There's always opportunities, and there's always things to go and do. But I think you have to remember that your first ministry really is to your own household. Mm-hmm. And then secondarily, you have to remember like the importance of rest. I think I'm not great at remembering both of those things. But I think those are just two really important, like, all right, first of all, I'm going to take care of my family, my house. The second of all is I'm going to make sure that we're resting. And I think that changes the stress and the mindset, the pace that you're living life with to something that's more joyful. Like, I was listening to a podcast today, I don't remember what it was, but of just talking about how, like, it's good to be happy and joyful. Like, it's a good thing. And even more so than being productive. Like, it's a good thing to be joyful. So,
well, yeah, and that's kind of the thing too. Like, for us, we've always made sure that, like, from very early on in our marriage, that like Sunday was kind of like our day to be not committed to things, like other than going to church. We didn't really go out and do too much. It was more family things. If we did something, it was spending time with family, and we've carried that over. I mean, yeah, we'll let the kids in the backyard like play with the neighbor kids or whatever.
Yeah.
But like just making sure that like we as a family like are just, you know, taking care and making sure that we're very kind of low key, because, you know, Mom likes to have her naps on Sunday afternoons. Like,
Yeah. Don't we all?
she's more disappointed now that
I can't do it, but I'd love to have it.
yeah, now that the kids don't nap. Like, it used to be great because both
Yeah.
the kids would drop and so would Mom. But yeah,
Yeah. No, that's look where we ended up. We started talking about Jeremy having a second kid. Still didn't get a phone call in the middle of the episode. And
Well, we really started with what studio we were on.
we really started
Let's
with
not
what studio
forget,
we were
that's
on.
what this episode was really about.
Jared cracked open a new bottle here. It is Jefferson's Reserve. I love the copy here. The front just says,
Ain't really going gut check on this one.
yeah, the front just says very old. And then it says Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. And then it says very small batch. It reminds you, it's not just old, very old. Not just a small batch, but a very small batch.
And it's very good.
And it's very good. They don't have that on the bottle.
They could add that. I'd write that in with a Sharpie. Kind of like this podcast episode.
Exactly.
It was good. I think it was good.
I think we did all
I
right.
think it was nice.
Yeah. Here we are. This is like it's very smooth.
I think this is a full ep, not even a bonus ep.
No, I think we've
rambled long enough.
yeah. I mean, whether or not it's as good as a full ep is one thing.
It might be as good as like if you take 2 mediocre eps and make them 1 ep, it's probably a good ep.
Mm-hmm.
That's how math works.
This might be Jeremy. I mean, we don't have plans for like Jeremy to take a break, but he's about to have a second kid, so
the
he's
resting doesn't take a break for him. I need to keep creating content.
Exactly.
So that way
You're
I
like,
can
look.
keep my media presence alive.
you need to keep your platform.
I
need my platform
You need to
growing.
use your platform. It's
I plan on
2020.
it. I'm
Use your
making
platform.
shirts for like Jeremy's third baby,
Everything is
and those will go to the
platform.
kids' college fund. So there you go.
Yeah. We'll see if any of the shirts we brainstormed tonight make it like to reality.
Maybe that'll be what I do during my weeks off. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna have anything else.
Design some shirts.
Design some shirts.
There you go.
Good shirts.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. There won't be lots of other things going on.
Like a bathroom
No.
or something.
I'm scrambling for a recommendation right now.
I'm trying to read, which I've tried to read a few times, and I know the first half is really good, and then I got sidetracked. Paul David Tripp's Parenting. It's a good book.
It's good. Yeah, that's a good recommendation.
Thank you. I figured it fit with the half the episode.
It does. I'll give a non-thematic one. One is I have 2 recommendations. One that's serious is like I linked to it in our last episode, but some stuff from like Apologia Church about murder, and as a trailer goes by on the back of a van, it's really loud.
I can't figure out what that was. That was
Yeah.
a car going the other way.
Chains dragon. He didn't hook his chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, get those chains up.
But Apologia Church talking about the George Floyd thing, and the reason I like the video is because it's like a case test of like this is what it looks like to have a biblical lens for things. But also, there's a band called Mount Joy that's kind of like a folk kind of outfit, and they just put out a new CD that's pretty good. So
There you go.
But Jeremy's recommendation is probably the best. So
I mean, Owen said the best, but it's up there.
we'll see.
It's good. It's good enough.
Next time,
might have my
who knows
baby
what
next
it'll
time
be?
we
Yeah,
record.
Jeremy.
Unless we record another one right after this.
No, we're not gonna.
But
do that.
that's the magic of media and recording.
Yeah, I'll still have my tattoo. Jeremy he'll probably have another kid.
He'll probably have another kid.
And Andrew will probably be back. And
I don't know. He goes to Cleveland a lot. And
he's always doing things.
he's doing stuff.
He's a traveler. He's
He's a mogul.
He's a mogul. He's
making deals,
He's making moves.
wheeling and dealing,
making moves all
cashing
across
checks,
the greater Ohio area.
cashing checks, snapping
flipping
necks.
burgers all day.
I mean, you know he's in that international finance game. So
He's in the Wendy's world, man.
knows what
Big
he does.
business.
laundering those burgers all
got
day.
that cheeseburger money, yo.
That cheeseburger money.
Frosties.
Got that breakfast bacon
But
money.
Jared stood in for Andrew tonight.
I think he did a good job. I think he did good. We might have to consider him
Yeah,
a fixture.
Maybe.
I'm the poor man's Andrew.
We'll see. He might have poor man's Andrew. That's
You have a better
perfect.
beard than Andrew.
That's true.
And you have more tattoos than Andrew, so there you
Is
go.
that the criteria for the podcast?
No, I'm just saying two facts.
Andrew doesn't have any, so
And he doesn't have a beard, so there you go.
he can grow a beard. He just doesn't
He
wear it.
chooses not to because his wife doesn't like it.
Boy. All right, we're circling the drain.
That was actually like one of the pre-wedding conversations was how do you feel about beards? Because
It is important to you.
I had the beard before she came around, and I was
Yeah.
like, hey, like,
It's probably gonna stay.
yeah, how do you feel?
I already had one of the tattoos when Rachel came around, but she has been. This was the third one here is technically a gift from her. So
I forgot you had
That was
the other
very
one.
gracious
I
of her.
like the third.
yeah, I was
forgot
counting
the
them.
first
I'm
one.
counting them up in my head. So many.
You're three
Three.
times the center.
Yeah, but well, hopefully this episode's been at least fun. It's fun for us. So
We had a good time.
anyway, for all these guys, I think we did all
We
right.
did a lot of uhs there. You seem to end the end.
Just end it. Just end it. There's already going to be
Is
intro
this
music.
like that episode on the Happy Rant where like they just couldn't
wanna
land
end
the
it.
ship? Like it was like 20 minutes
Yeah, land
later.
the shit,
There's
man.
gonna be the intro music's already
I
playing.
kind of want this whole thing to keep going a long time, just to like.
I mean, why don't we live stream an episode of like Psych? And it,
Why don't we
while we're doing
jump into a live episode here, and then we'll have a live episode within a recorded episode.
Gotta come to you live, but not really
The
live.
music's already playing. It's already faded in. It's at full volume.
You should fade the music in and out, and then like think that it ended, but it's.
Do
Really
I need to start
interesting.
talking louder since the music's in?
No, I think
Oh.
what we need to do is end this.
You're the one
So-
recording, you're handling the recording. You just gotta press the stop
I
button.
mean, you do the editing, right? Like, you
I
could have,
kinda
like,
want
stopped
all
this
this in
20
there.
minutes
This
ago.
might be the crappiest episode.
If this is not in there, I'm gonna not tell you my daughter's
I'm
name
trying to think of all the.
until
I'm
years
trying.
after she's.
I'm trying to think of all the rough endings we've had to episodes.
This is
where
probably
it's-
the roughest, but it's
and this
most
might be
fun.
the roughest one.
But it's a lot of fun.
It
That's
is.
what's important.
The problem is I'm interrogating it.
The problem is that Jared's here for this one.
Jared.
So we are actually going to land the episode now. And
We've landed the plane.
we've landed the plane. And until next time, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Go ahead. Okay.